Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Kat. So for today's video, I'm going to be doing my 10 before the end, which is basically a trend I saw in BookTok, and it's basically the 10 books that you are hopefully trying or planning to finish before the year ends. As many of you know, we are coming to a close in October. Next week is the last week, and that is just insane. November is right around the corner, so that means the year is about to end. And I do have some books that I would love to get to, hopefully, who knows. This is in no particular order, so let's get started. So I'll start off with The Lord of the Rings. This will be like a reread for me. I read Lord of the Rings so many years ago. It's such a pivotal book and movie series of my childhood. It really is one of the first fantasy books I read as a kid, and although it can be a little hard to get into at first because of the writing, I really do enjoy Lord of the Rings so much. It's such a vast and expansive world, and it's just so fun to get lost into. I just love being in my Lord of the Rings era, whether it be the books or the movies or whatever it is. Not the TV show, okay? Not the TV show. Next, I have a book that's been on several TBRs, and that is Sword of Kaigen by Emma Wong. Sword of Kaigen is just one of those fantasy standalones that everyone has read, and those who read it have all shed a tear or two. I also have heard that it's just a fantastic and phenomenal fantasy book in general, and one that should be read by anybody who loves fantasy. I think this will be one of the first books I'll get to after I get through my spooky October reads. Speaking of spooky October reads, I have The House Across the Lake by Riley Sager. I've read 3 out of the 4 Riley Sager books I own, and all 3 of them were great. I am happy to be on a Riley Sager journey. I've enjoyed the books I've read so far. Riley Sager is one of those authors that you either like him or not. He's kind of a hit or miss with people. I am so glad to be in the group that enjoy his books. I love his writing. I love his plot twists. I love his characters. I do really enjoy Riley Sager as a writer. So this would be the 4th book that I own of his, and I'm hoping to wrap up October with this one. I also have The 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle by Stuart Turton. This is one of those books that was very popular at one point some years ago, and almost everyone has read it. Of course, again, I'm in that group that is jumping on that bandwagon now. I've heard so many great things about this book, and I've just heard that the murder mystery aspect of it and the plot twist is phenomenal and just such a fun ride. So I'm hoping to get to this as well, hopefully in October, but if not, that's okay. Next on the list is The Shifter Romances the Writer. This is by Kristen Painter. This is book 6 in her Nocturne Falls series. Nocturne Falls series is basically a series of books that take place in a town called Nocturne Falls, where Halloween is celebrated all year round. And if that didn't capture my interest, I don't know what else would. Each book is basically a romance that takes place in this town. There's some books that were misses for sure. I won't say this is like great, because it's not. It's kind of like eating candy. Is just something fun. I think it's a great book to read in between more heavier, darker books. It serves as a great palate cleanser, and reading books in a town that celebrates Halloween is a fun time. And then I have Lies of Locke Lamora by Scott Lynch. I think this centers around a band of thieves who call themselves the Gentlemen Bastards. I love books that have to do with thieves. Like, oh my goodness, they're so fun. It's always a fun ride. It's always a wild adventure. And again, I've heard nothing but amazing things about this book series, especially the very first book. So I'm hoping to get to this soon. I'm hoping to be on this ride, and I'm hoping to enjoy the book like most people have. Then I have The Mask of Mirrors by M.A. Carrick. This book is about Ren, who's a con artist, and she comes to this new city, and she's hoping to scam some of these noble people and noble families to secure her fortune and for her sister as well. But when she comes into this city, nothing is what it appears to be. I've heard wonderful things about this series. It's like one of people's favorite fantasy trilogies out there, and I just heard that it's really cleverly written, and the characters are wonderful, and the romance in here is just wonderfully done. It's a bit of a chunker, like we're looking around, 600 pages, so definitely more something I would want to read when the days are colder and I'm indoors trying to escape the cold weather. And then I have a classic, which is The Kite Runner by Colette Hosseini. Now, The Kite Runner is a book I've had on my shelves for some time now, for some years, and it's just been collecting some dust. So I need to eventually get to this. Kite Runner is a classic. It's a classic book. It's considered one of the best pieces of literature out there. It will pull on your heartstrings. It has a lot of historical events that take place in the background and really affect these characters. I just feel like it's one of those books that you have to take your time with. So I want to read this when I'm not trying to complete my Goodreads goal. Hopefully after I finish my Goodreads goal, I can sit down and just take my time with this book. I want to get to some Brandon Sanderson before the year ends. So here I have Warbreaker. Warbreaker is a standalone so far, but I think he's mentioned that he's planning to write a sequel to this. I hear that it's so well done, like the magic system is wonderfully unique and beautifully executed, and there is a bit of a romance. Like, it's probably one of his more romantic books. Of course, not heavy on the romance, but compared to his other books, it has a bit more romance, so I'm excited to see how he's gonna write that out. And I have Tress of the Emerald Sea. I've heard so many beautiful things. It's whimsical, it's magical, it's fantastical, and it just throws you into this world full of adventure and amazing characters. Hopefully I get to this, and since it's special edition, it has some beautiful, beautiful artwork in here, and I'm just so excited to read this book. So those are the 10 books that I have on my list. Now I do have 2 honorable mentions. The first one I have is A Thousand Boy Kisses by Tilly Cole. I have heard that this is a sad book. That's all I've really heard, that it is sad and it'll make you cry. And again, like I said, because of my seasonal depression, I'd probably gravitate towards more sad books. Hopefully I do get to this. I hear it's a lot of people's favorites and a lot of people really enjoyed reading this. So I am looking forward to it. Another hefty honorable mention. Do not know if I will actually get to this by the end of the year, but it would be great if I did. And that is The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson. Way of Kings is book 1 in his epic, massive Stormlight Archive series. Just one of those books that if you're a fantasy reader, you're going to eventually come across this, or you're going to eventually read this. It is on my list, and it's one of those big, hefty, thick boys that I want to eventually read. Alrighty guys, so those are the books I have on my list before the year ends. Hopefully I can get to all of them. If I don't, it's okay, but those will be like kind of more of a priority read. But I am a mood reader, so who knows, maybe I won't get to any of those and I end up getting to like a whole new different set of books. That can happen too. Let me know what books are your priority reads before the year ends. I would love to know. If you've read any of the books I mentioned, please let me know your thoughts. In the meantime, please stay safe and take care of yourselves and take care of each other. You are wonderful, you are amazing, you are beautiful, and just don't let anyone bring you down, and go follow your dreams and whatever other piece of advice I can think of right now. And that I will see you next time. Bye!